Hello, and welcome to a Chessima. Chess versus the world, or a small fraction of the world. I am here with my ChessUp board. I have my app. Let's get that on screen, and I will play awesome people, strangers on the internet, and we will see how I do. New game, no assistance. I would like to play online, over Lichess. Let's play with the time. Let's play with 5 minutes plus 5 seconds for every move against someone random. And let's ask for a random game. Maybe I will have to turn the board around. We will see. No, I am white. So let's just disengage here. Play the first move. Turn the pawn around. They play d5 and we play c4. They do Queen's Gambit accepted, like so. How is this in screen? Something like this. And we play pawn to e3, hoping for the elephant trap. With b5, that is exactly what they play. Here is a little lesson in how knowing a little bit of opening theory can give you a massive, massive advantage. In this position, white already has a very significant advantage, and all you have to know is a small sequence of moves beginning with pawn to a4, undermining b5. So in the Queen's Gambit, it is okay to accept the gambit, it is okay to capture the pawn, but it is not okay to try to hold on to it. And we see here c6, the reason why. If they had defended with a6, I would just take, and then I could capture the rook. I will still go after the rook, but in a different manner. I will still capture. And if you're one of the regulars who've watched my video on the Queen's Gambit, common responses to the Queen's Gambit, you will know the secret move here. The queen move. Notice the rook we are going after. Queen to f3, and you have to give up a minor piece to save the rook, and white has a massive, massive advantage. Okay, so normal moves include knight to c6, bishop to b7, and sometimes they think that they can maybe trap your queen. If they play queen c7, queen takes rook, and then bishop b7 to trap the queen, but then they forget that a7 is no longer covered after b7, so you can just play queen takes a7, and yeah, you have a massive advantage. Let me check my phone if my opponent resigned. No, they are still playing, and actually they did go for queen c7. I am not streaming this, so they can't be stream sniping. Thank you for the rook. This will make the game easier. And they try to trap me this way. So now they can't play bishop c7, as that would put the king in check. I think I can play pawn to d5, attacking the knight, so that it will no longer, after it moves, be defending a7. I could then capture a7 with my rook, which I quite like that idea. And let's see if we can be able, if we will be able to get this game over with very quickly. knight is attacked, the knight will probably have to move in this position, and then a7 is up for grabs, attacking the queen. Maybe if the knight goes to b4, I will have to think a little bit, because it will then be threatening knight to c2, which would be check. Maybe I can accept that, maybe I won't accept that. Let's say knight b4. Okay, they are just playing. I think knight b4 was the only real try there. Knight b4. Then maybe rook takes a7 anyways, knight c2 check, king d1, attacking the knight, and I don't see a very good follow-up, so maybe that was why they played like they did. So will we play pawn takes knight or queen takes knight? We are up a bunch of material, we can easily trade down. I am quite tired, so I would like a non-complicated game. So let's play queen takes knight. That is check. It forces the trade of queens somehow, some way, and our queen is of course protected by the pawn. Queen takes queen, pawn takes queen, and we are up a bunch of pieces, and it should be pretty easy to convert this into a win. But I have a sort of a little bit of a flaw as a chess player, a little mistake I make a lot of times, is when I have a good position, I start playing sloppily. I don't observe the principles that allowed me to get in that position. Maybe sort of like people who have a very, very good position in life. Maybe they are very, very wealthy. Maybe they have been very lucky in some circumstances. Sometimes we see that they become maybe arrogant, or they make bad choices. They don't adhere to sound principles. They maybe don't treat people well. They lose sight of the sound principles. I do that in chess, where I can accept it, because I can accept losing a game of chess. I could never accept becoming an unprincipled or unkind person if I were to get success in my life. And I try to learn small nuggets like that from chess and use them as reminders in my real life, because of course chess is a microcosm of decisions that are easier to analyze than real life, but it is still you who are making the decisions, and that is also you who are making a lot of the important decisions in your life. Let me check my phone. Maybe my opponent has resigned. Yes, they have resigned, and usually here it says game resigned, and usually the board would make an animation to show me that, but they just updated the software, the firmware in the board, and there is some small bug that, and I did write Jeff and the guys who make the board about this, and that's also why I won't advertise the board in this video, because right now it actually has a little box, so that wouldn't be principled. Maybe let's have another game. Let's first set up the board here, and the queen, and I'm hoping for opponents that will not challenge me too much today, because we have started a new year. I had to work a lot to make everything work at the end of 2022, and I am very, very tired, and I don't have the juices flowing. The brain juice is not really popping, so it would be nice with some relaxing opponents that will not challenge me too much, or if they do, it would be nice if they do it in an original, interesting way. Okay, I have the white pieces again. We can play pawn to d4. We've seen this before. We are playing against Firewater with a rating of 1368 on Lichess. And what will Firewater play against pawn to d4, if anything? Because they have spent 20 seconds on their first move. Oh, they aborted the game. That is okay. Maybe they had internet connectivity problems. Or maybe I did. They do. They play pawn to g3. I will respond with pawn to d5. Should I maybe even try to play it reverse like this? Or is that weird? They attack my pawn. Let's just try it. Let's try something different. They attack the pawn. I could play e5 or maybe c5. I'm interested in seeing what happens after. What happens after e5 here? So remember, I'm playing black here. Okay, they do not really occupy the center with their pawns. So they attack in what is called hypermodern style. And of course, the hypermodern style is not new. It's about 100 years old. So it was invented by or developed by people like Eron Nimzowitsch, Reti, Tarrasch, maybe Tarrasch not so much. Okay, they go for the double fianchetto here, or fianchetto, that's how it's actually pronounced. And I'm thinking I could start pushing these pawns, but I will do knights before bishops and just have this sort of very principled opening here, not trying to get too concrete too early. And in this position, I'm just going to advance after e4. It will attack the knight, ask a question of the knight, and it will, now this bishop is not so good, they will have to play f4. I am not too concerned with this. I am basically thinking about where to put this bishop so I can get castled. I think I will just put it on c5. It can be exposed to an attack by something like pawn to b4, but I don't think that's so strong because knight takes knight, pawn takes bishop, knight can probably... Okay, they play c4 to sort of super solidify this knight, but I think that is a little dubious, to be honest, because of, you know, if you know your internet chess memes, you know that there's a move called en passant, and you know that it is forced. And I can play it here. I could also just play pawn to d3, which would give this bishop a lot of scope, and it would hem in white a lot. But then of course bishop to b2 could be played. Let's say en passant, pawn takes on c3, pawn takes c3, bishop takes f2, check, king takes, and then if the knight hadn't been there, I could have played queen takes queen, but the knight is there. Pawn takes, pawn takes. It feels pretty good to play pawn takes, but is it? Or would it be super cool to just play pawn to d3 in order to play knight d4 in order to play knight c2? That looks really good. Let's let's try it. It cramps white's position a lot. I guess a move like queen f3 would be attacking the pawn. Okay, rook here, rook b1. So my idea was knight d4, and now there is no queen f3. It's very hard. Okay, they try to go like this to attack the pawn. They play pawn to b4. I guess I can throw in the check. It's very nearly checkmate. So let's go with the check first. So king f1 or queen takes are the only legal moves. So king here, and I can play maybe bishop f4 to attack the queen. They would probably have to play pawn to f3, and then I don't see a follow-up. I could play bishop takes pawn, king takes, knight check, king, let's say king back, knight, then I think I will just play this like a little bit sensibly. There's no reason. The position is so unbelievably crushing. I'll just play bishop d4, get out of the attack, and they are so cramped. Let's check the time. Okay, so I'll play a little fast now. Let's go like this. Okay, they recapture, we threaten checkmate. We don't have so much time left, but my screen recording stopped, so you won't be able to actually see that. So in this position, okay, they defend like that. That doesn't work. We just capture it, and that's basically the game, I guess. So they have to play, I guess, pawn to f3 or something. Bishop takes bishop. Okay, they do like this. And that, of course, allows us to play checkmate. Okay, the animation is back. So maybe I can actually, maybe I actually can advertise the board. I will put a link in the description to the board. You save 10% and you support my channel. Because the animation is back. Maybe Jeff fixed it while we were playing. Yeah, let's have another game. There's been a lot of talk about how to orient the knights. Grandmaster Jon Ludvig Hammer, that's how you say it in Danish. He's Swedish. He's Norwegian, I mean. He's Magnus Carlsen's friend. He once told me that you have to orient the knights so that they face the opponent's king in order to show the intention. And there's like this awesome guy, Sardoche. He's a French streamer. He's like he's mega famous. And he actually commented on one of my videos when I stopped doing that and said, please do the thing with the knights. So let's do that again in honor of the mighty French streamer Sardoche, I learned, also has made some ASMR videos. Okay, let's play a new game. Online, Lichess. We will play 5 minutes. And let's go. Okay, I have the white pieces. D4. Nothing new under the sun. Pawn to E6. Let's just play C4. And the Cape Knight. Okay, so they are going for some Nimzo Indian. I think I will play Knight F3, delay Knight C3, so that if they play Bishop B4, which is the what? Okay, so they play Bishop D6. I was going to say that the main variation here, or the main line, would have been, instead of Knight F3, which is also one of the absolute main moves, it would have been Knight C3 and then Bishop B4, pinning the knight to the king, and it's known as the Nimzo Indian. Now they are hemming in their D pawn. I believe I can play E4 with a pretty significant advantage now, because I have it covered by the C3 knight, and I'm threatening the fork on E5, forking the bishop and the knight. So in general, guys, you do not really want your bishop on the D6 square if you haven't played pawn to D5. Alright, so they are in trouble a little bit here. I am forking their bishop and knight. There's no good way to save them. Probably the best move is bishop here to E7. Pawn takes knight, bishop takes pawn. Then okay, they try to complicate matters. I think that may be a bit of a problem, because I can capture that with the queen, and so they sacrificed a piece, and they were hoping I had to capture with the knight, I think, so that they could capture the pawn, because the knight would then no longer defend the pawn. But now both the queen and the knight defends the pawn, and I will go ahead and capture this bishop here, I think. And I think we have a little bit of a theme going on here with blocking my opponent's d-pawn. And this game is kind of in the bag a little bit. The knight has to move, but it doesn't have any amazing squares. We are ahead a bunch of material. They don't have any real compensation. Our king is not weak. And they can't go to e4, they can't go to d5. So they basically have to go to g4, h5, or e8. I think e8 may be the best move. It has a little bit of tempo. It's attacking the queen. They are offering me a draw. I will decline the draw, and they played b5, and then they resigned the game. I will not. Okay. So let's set up. Have another game. So I'm playing the unrated version here on Lichess, which seems to give me opponents that that are very helpful to me, since they do not challenge me beyond my current limited capacity. Well, my capacity is always pretty limited, but it's extra limited. That's also the kind of Magic the Gathering I like to play. Limited. That's where it's at, guys. Let's play some more online, on leeches. 5+5 seems to be working out against anybody. And let's see who we find. Who do we find to play against? And we got the white pieces again. We are in luck. Okay, do you remember what the move is we always play here? Pawn to c4. Explosive. Okay, they play e6, very standard. Let's play knight to c3 in this situation. Okay. So, yeah, they play something that looks a bit like the Nimzo Indian, but they have included the move d5. This also has a name, it's very popular, I can't remember the name. There are many moves here. Today I think I will go with knight f3. I could play e3. Sometimes I even play bishop f4, which is like the Horwitz attack or something. It's like a very old, like he was one of Paul Morphy's opponents back in the 1850s. And it's offbeat. It's not very good, but people tend to not know it too well. So sometimes I do okay with it. I mean, we can even have a little bit of fun and play a move like bishop g5 after knight f6 here. I think this is all okay, according to chess theory. They try to kick us away. Change the picture. They try to smack my bishop, but we will not allow that. We will drop back to h4, and they kick it again. We drop it back. We don't want to be doing any kind of sacrifices here. We drop it back to g3. I've had some very similar games here. Okay, so they want the bishop. That's okay. We will play queen c2 in order to protect the knight. Otherwise they could play knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, check, and that would be a disaster. Now they play c5. It looks like they are playing quite well here. I feel like a move just like e3 and try to exploit the potential weakness of the black king, particularly on the light squares. I think we are defending this just about with rook c1. No, we are not. Knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, queen takes, queen takes. It works just about. Yeah, I'm a little tired there. I thought it was a mistake, but I'm so used to playing rook c1 in these positions. And then I sort of accidentally miscalculated it, even though I know it's a fine move to play here. Probably the only real move that I could play. Okay, they go for knight here. I go for bishop d3 after knight d7 in order to get castled, to attack this knight, to get onto the light squares. So they do not want me to capture the knight. I can understand that. So they play knight takes knight, pawn takes knight, bishop has to move, and bishop a3 is probably the only try here, because they did play c5, blocking in their bishop. That would be attacking the rook, so then just a pretty simple move like rook b1, putting the rook on the open file, and I think we defended adequately, and I think we are basically doing very, very well here. Let me check. My opponent's thinking this one through. They are called Albert Orb, or Albertorp, which is very okay. They do play bishop a3. Probably that was the only move. Rook b1, sort of a no-brainer. Get on the open file. Okay, knight here in order to attack this pawn quite a bit, in order to defend that. I am thinking knight e5. So now the pawn is attacked twice and defended twice. Okay, they go for this instead. And it looks to me as if I have something here. So I will castle in order to not have any nasty surprises, and then I will very, very happily sacrifice this backwards c-pawn in order to get a tremendous attack, because I think knight takes c2 here is maybe almost just losing for them. They do play it, so let's take a look. Let's take a look here. So we have a bunch of interesting moves. We can play, for instance, knight takes f7, king takes, bishop g6, check king somewhere, and we don't have that good of a follow-up right away. So I think we will just be a little patient and play rook b3. Now we are attacking the knight twice, it's defended once. We are also attacking the bishop, which is defended by the queen, but okay, that move looks a little dubious to me, because now we can play knight takes. So they play pawn takes c4. We can play knight takes c4, attacking the queen. The queen has nowhere to go where it's defending the knight, so we will very probably win the knight. And okay, so they go here. They play knight b5. That's hanging the queen. So we play knight takes queen. And the game is basically over. They also steaming a little bit, not seeing that bishop takes knight here is check. And we will also be able to capture the rook. Okay, they actually resigned and the board still has the bug. Apparently the bug is not with checkmate, but it is with resign. So the little advert I made for the board earlier don't pretend you didn't hear that. We are not advertising the board while it has a bug. So let's reset the board. Bishop on c1, bishop on f1, the knights on b and g, 8 and 1, queen, pawn, 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 on their starting squares, and here we go. Let's see if we will again get white. Play against someone random, online, 5 plus 5, on leeches. Let's go. We have the black pieces today, and they play pawn to d4, so maybe we will be able to play the Budapest. We will play e5, the Budapest. Had a lot of success with that opening on the channel. Have a video on it if you haven't watched it. It's a gambit. It's not particularly sound, but it's also not. It's not like white can refute it and have a winning position out of the opening, but white can, if they know the theory, get a strong position out of the opening. What they are playing here is called the Adler variation. Adler is one of the people who developed the gambit originally, working with Maroczy, and famously it had its world premiere against the positional maestro Akiva Rubinstein, where he famously got absolutely destroyed by this opening when it crashed onto the world stage in the 1910s, somewhere 1915, I want to say. I'll check that. It's embarrassing. I made a whole video about it. Okay, so we can just capture the pawn now, so it's no longer a gambit. And they capture, and we capture, and looks like they may know the theory, but I am not so afraid of the Adler variation, because I can get to play a lot of fun moves. I can do the rook lift, get this rook to attack the king, have a lot of fun. And they castle here. We will do a high class waiting move, rook e8. So we want them to play, either b3 or a3, to which we always respond a5. Bishop b2, I've had this position a million times. Rook a6 is the recommended move. And now it's interesting. So what we want to do is get the queen and the rook. Oh, okay, so we want the queen and the rook to attack h2. And normally I would snap play knight takes bishop here, because the bishop is a very good defender. But I think that it will help the queen get into the game in this when they play it like this. So I will play queen h5 in order to play rook h6. It's very important to play the queen move first, so that after rook h6 they don't play pawn to g3 to block or to sort of protect. Okay, they are going full on defensive mode here, but now I can capture the bishop with devastating effect. That is check. They have to capture with the pawn, and there's basically, I think, no way to defend against the checkmate with the sort of somehow bizarre rook lift that you do here. It's not many openings do that, activate the rook in this way, but that's the beauty of the Adler variation of the Budapest. And yeah, there's basically no moves. I mean, they can play. Okay, they agreed. They resigned. So there's just no way to defend. You can play h3, delays at one move. You can play rook e1, it gives you one more moves. Gives you, wait. Maybe like rook e1, queen takes, check here, because now, of course, queen here isn't mate because of the knight. But there must be some other way, like check here. The knight is kind of holding on, so probably just rook takes. Right, because if pawn takes, bishop takes, checkmate. So they have to do something else. Maybe like knight here to also attack the queen. But then we have rook takes, check. Only one move, queen takes. And now we can check like this because this pawn is pinned from the bishop. King would have to go here. And we are not exactly checkmating right away, but I think check, only move here, check, rook takes, check, king here in order to defend the rook. And here we can't play because we want to play a queen takes bishop, but rook e8 would be a embarrassing checkmate. So we play takes here, check, and we, okay, so maybe it wasn't, I probably missed a forced mate there somewhere, but you know, with little to no effort I could get a position from there where I was up a million billion pieces, and they had no counterplay. Okay, let's I think we have time for one more game. Let's do that. We set up the board. Set up, set up, set up, set up, set up. So we play a new game online against someone random on leeches. 5 minutes plus 5 seconds. Let's go. Let's see if we have to turn the board around. Turn the board around. Turn the board around. We do. We are white. So let's turn the board around. Oh. We have somebody who knows their stuff here. They play the dreaded Albin counter gambit. Okay, so I will accept the gambit. They advance, as you do. I think I have a little trouble remembering my theory here. I think a3 is an important move. Okay, a5, they really know their stuff. Playing very quickly. So what if I play e3? How does that look? Okay, they pin like this. So I guess I will capture the d4 pawn. And then it's interesting. Okay, they play bishop takes knight. So they are going to play something takes d4 regardless. Queen takes bishop. Okay, knight takes. So that's obviously threatening c2 check, which could be devastating. So how about we defend that with queen d3, where it's hopefully adequately defended by the bishop. And I think this is the game where we will get all the challenge we didn't get in the previous games. Because this opponent apparently knows their stuff. Okay, knight here. Where is that going? Knight c3 looks reasonable. I think, okay, they try to get the rook, which I don't really mind. I can play rook b1, and there is no, I think just rook b1, and there is no, the queen is protected, the bishop is protected. Okay, so they're really getting kind of aggressive here. I think we may want to try to develop this bishop and defend the pawn. But their knights are doing a pretty good job at this point. I find it a little bit hard to evaluate the position. We are up a pawn, so that's good. But okay, wow, that's pretty interesting. So the point is that it attacks the bishop, defended by the knight. Do I have some cheeky moves? Can I cheekily defend like this? That looks like a cool move. It attacks the knight, it defends the bishop, and it attacks on c7. And if they have to play queen takes queen, bishop takes queen. What an odd looking, super interesting position. What do you guys think? How well did I play this? I don't think I've seen a position like this before. They are not even really forced maybe to take my queen. It is protected. But if they don't do something pretty drastic here, I may just play knight takes c7 check. And that may be a big problem for them. Maybe they go knight c5 attacking the queen. But queen takes queen, knight takes queen. Okay, they defend here, which does threaten something very dangerous. But I can still play queen takes queen, knight takes queen, knight takes c2, c7, check, king d8 attacking the knight, e6 defending the knight, knight c2 check, it's king d1 maybe. This is pretty wild. I can also consider just capturing the knight. Queen takes knight, queen takes f2 check, king d1. Then what do they do? I mean, that does look kind of fun to allow the deadly check. We will try that. We will try it. Not because I'm 100% sure it's the best, but it just looks kind of fun. So they have to play queen takes f2. Oh, it looks like I lost on time. And I guess also I'm running out of time for this video, so maybe that's kind of fitting. And also I should lose at least one game today. But let's just take a look here. Queen takes check. Only one move, king here. And then you are supposed to have a follow-up. Are there any good checks? This check is possible, but it doesn't look good. I maybe just do this, so you don't want to be playing that. And that's the only real check that they have, so can they come in with something like this? Is this very dangerous? It actually doesn't look dangerous at all. I think actually just queen takes knight here is just... I don't think the check is particularly strong after the knight is gone. Okay, so that is the video for today. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope I will see you in the next video. Thank you guys, everybody who watches this channel. If you are new, if you're a regular, I'm just happy that you want to watch my stuff. Drop a comment if you want to encourage me. I love reading the comments. Anyways, hope I will see you in the next video. Bye.